So, what actually happens during your first time at a dungeon or munch? Do people really play in front of strangers? Do you just stand there and watch? Well, I'm Alessandra from Dom Living, and today I'm pulling back the curtain so you can walk in confidently without feeling awkward or creepy. Welcome to the Dom Living podcast. Picture this: you're about to walk into your very first kink event. Do you dress casual or kinky? Do you bring a partner, or will it look weird if you show up alone? And what if you say the wrong thing or don't know the rules? I know exactly how that feels because I've been there, and so have thousands of people I've talked to in our community. So, in this episode, I'll take you through everything you need to know for your first munch or dungeon night: what to expect, what to wear, how to actually talk to people, and how to know if you found the right community. And by the end, you'll not only know what happens behind those mysterious closed doors, but you'll also feel ready to go from nervous newbie to confident participant. Let's start with the big question. So, why community even matters? Why even go to these things? And why not just play at home? Well, here's the thing: kink can feel very private. It's usually something you keep secret from your family or from your coworkers, sometimes even from your close friends. And yet, the only way to really grow in this lifestyle is to step into community. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? I kind of also like to think of it this way. So, I could make dinner at home and cook dinner from scratch and have a nice dinner in my sweats, watching Netflix on the couch while I eat at home. But sometimes it's nice to dress up and do my hair and makeup and go out to dinner where I sit at an actual table and get to order off a menu. And it just feels nicer to be out in public sometimes. I'm at a restaurant conversing with the server. I'm enjoying different foods that maybe I haven't tried before. And it's the same as leaving the house and going to a dungeon or munch. I could just do scenes at home. I could just be with my partner, but it's nice sometimes to go out in public and do kinky fun things in public and meet other people. Also, when I first started, I thought kink was something I could figure out all on my own, maybe through books, watching videos, maybe a little experimenting, but eventually I realized I was hitting a wall. And that wall was I didn't know anyone else like me. I was in my own little bubble. And I'll be honest, going to my first event was terrifying. I was with my partner, but even still, I almost asked him to turn around the car when we were in the parking lot. I was so nervous. I kind of had flashbacks of high school, and I just kept thinking, what if everyone knows each other there and I just kind of look out of place? Even my Dom, he's a cis man. He was kind of thinking, what if people think I'm creepy for being there? But even if you don't have a partner, you know what? A lot of people go alone to their first event, and it's not creepy. In fact, it actually shows confidence if you show up alone. And most groups I go to expect newcomers to show up solo. So when we finally went into our first event, yes, I was nervous. Yes, I stumbled over my words at first, but the organizer introduced us to a few people. And before I knew it, I was sitting at a table laughing about the latest Star Trek show. Um, that night changed everything for me because it showed me I wasn't alone and that there was a real community out there. And ever since that first event, I've gone to events on my own. My Dom has gone to events on his own too. So if you're listening right now thinking, I don't know if I could ever go alone, trust me, you can. You're not weird, you're not creepy, and you won't be the only one. But at this point, you may be thinking, well, what exactly is the difference between a munch and a dungeon and a play party? That's something that confuses a lot of people. And it definitely does matter because each one has its own totally different vibe. So let's break it down. So a munch is usually the entry point for most people. It's just a casual social gathering. Usually it's in a restaurant or it's at a bar or a coffee shop, and everyone's just in casual vanilla clothes. It's really just people hanging out, eating and talking, except the topic will include kink. So kind of think of it as a meet and greet without the pressure. A dungeon night is different. This is where play actually happens. There are rules, there are monitors, there are play spaces. You might see spanking, things like rope, impact play, all sorts of different dynamics just kind of happening right there in front of you. You can observe, you can socialize, and if you are ready, you can participate. Then there are play parties, and these are kind of a mix between the two. They're more social than a dungeon night, but there will be opportunities for play. Sometimes they're themed, sometimes they're just kind of more fun and laid back. It just really depends on who's coordinating it. But here's the big question. So, which should you go to first? So, if you want the lowest pressure, the safest bet is to start with a munch because it's just talking. There's no expectations, no pressure. And for me, my very first step was a munch. It felt safe. I can just kind of dip my toes in. I made some great friends and I walked out knowing that I wanted more. My first dungeon experience came later, and because I had already met people at the Munch, it felt less intimidating. So now that you know where to start, let's talk about the number one question I get, and that is, what do you actually wear? This one comes up every single time. People say, do I just show up in jeans or do I need to like squeeze myself into latex? Well, here's the answer. It depends on the event. So, for a munch, just keep it really simple. So, jeans, a casual outfit, basically whatever you'd wear to lunch with friends. A munch is about conversation. So, just wear whatever you would wear to the actual place. So, if you're going to meet at a pizza parlor, wear what you would actually wear to a pizza parlor. You also want to be mindful that you're in a vanilla setting and people aren't consenting to seeing a bunch of kinky gear on half naked bodies. So definitely dress respectfully. For a dungeon or play party, there's more flexibility. You'll see people in all black, people in fetish gear, and some who are still in casual clothes. So the key here is to be comfortable because you may be playing. If latex isn't your thing, don't wear latex. But I have seen people who are wearing a leash and only a leash. I've seen people in pink frilly onesies. I've seen people in pet gear and pet masks. I will say be mindful when you are traveling to a dungeon and going to the dungeon, like when you're walking to and from the parking lot. Dungeons have a business license to operate, and there's also zoning laws. So if you're walking on the street and you're half naked and you're in kinky gear, that can really put the business at risk for getting shut down. Also, there's the issue of people seeing you and they probably haven't consented to that. So, what I tend to do is just wear whatever I am wearing and I just wear it under a big jacket that just covers everything. Other times, if I'm wearing something a little more skimpy, I will actually just change in the restroom inside the dungeon. A lot of places have a small coat room where you can keep a small backpack for your clothes or your kink gear. But just to summarize, here's my rule of thumb when it comes to clothes. So for a munch, dress like you're meeting coworkers for lunch. And for a dungeon, wear whatever makes you feel sexy or confident, but just remember to be comfortable. That's what matters. But don't worry too much about clothes, just kind of blend in a little bit at first, and then you can experiment later when you feel more at ease. But let's say you found Munch. So you know what to wear now, and you're walking in. What actually happens next? So picture like a long table at a restaurant, just people are chatting, laughing. Sometimes it just kind of looks like any other group of friends, except the conversation isn't just about sports or the weather. It also will include kinks. So, how do you actually break into conversations with people you don't really know yet without feeling intrusive? Well, just like any other social event, just introduce yourself first, ask the other person what their name is. You can start with an open question like, what got you into this group, or have you been to other events here? You can also just compliment, something about the other person, like maybe their jewelry or their outfit, or maybe even what, they ordered off the menu. At my first munch, I was kind of just quiet for, that first half an hour. And then someone mentioned a Star Trek show that I really loved, and suddenly we were off to the races. So that one topic just really cracked the ice wide open. But if munches are like the appetizer, then dungeons are the main course. So, what really happens when you step into one for the first time? Well, walking into a dungeon for the first time can really feel like you're stepping onto another planet. Here's what usually will happen. So you check in. So there might be ID checks, maybe even a quick orientation. You'll notice dungeon monitors. So they might have special like glow bracelets, but they're basically just the safety team. They kind of just walk around, watch the scenes, and make sure that all the rules are being followed. There will usually be a social area and then a play area. And a common question I get asked is, should I just observe my first time? And the answer is yes, like absolutely. Most people do. You're not expected to play. Observing is normal and it's a great way to learn too. So, how do you watch without being an awkward creep? Well, just kind of stand back far enough not to hover over them. Don't interrupt. If you do have any questions for them, save them till the end when they're done playing. Don't stare the whole time either. You just want to be really casual. But when I went to my first dungeon, I was actually surprised at how respectful the energy there was. Nobody was gawking. It wasn't creepy. It was kind of like almost like an art gallery, just people, appreciating and observing and just, giving space. But now let's get into the rules because this is where a lot of people worry about messing up. So the basic rules are always ask before touching someone. No photos. In fact, a lot of dungeons will even have a no cell phone policy because it's kind of hard to tell if someone's just on their phone or they're just slyly taking pictures. So, if you do have to use your phone, it's best to step outside. The other rule is to respect the dungeon monitor. So, listen to them if they ask you to do something. And then there is kind of like this unspoken etiquette. So, like I said before, don't hover too close, don't act like a critic or a know it all, and be mindful of the space you take up. I often compare a dungeon to a gym. So, you don't want to hog the equipment. So, you don't want to hog the benches or the St. Andrew crosses. And also, there will be sanitizing wipes. So, sanitize the surfaces when you're done using them. But there's also red flags. So, how do you know if a group is safe before you even show up? So, here's some things to watch out for. So, any groups that discourage questions, events with no visible safety structure. So, maybe even on their website, they don't have any safety policies. Another thing to watch out for is organizers that push you to play right away. I haven't seen that at dungeons, but I have seen it at smaller, more intimate play parties. On the flip side, there are green flags that you might see. And these are organizers who welcome you in and make introductions for you. If they have clear guidelines and visible safety precautions in place, and if they have monitors keeping an eye on things. I once visited a dungeon here in LA where the organizers just really greeted every newcomer and they explained the rules to them and introduced, people to others. It just really felt like a family. It felt really amazing. And then compare that to a time when I walked into a space where no one spoke to me and it was just like a lot of whispering clicks, and needless to say, I didn't stay at that one very long. But here's the thing, going once to one of these events isn't enough. So, how do you turn a single night into real connections and maybe even lifelong friendships? But before I show you how, make sure to grab my free BDSM resource library at domsubliving.com/free. It includes my top guides, quizzes, scenes, templates, and videos so you can become the best Dom or sub you can be. It's totally free. Just go to domsubliving.com/free. I'll drop a link for it in the description too. So, what comes next after your first event? So, this is where you shift from being a visitor to becoming part of the community. So, attend workshops. A lot of dungeons and munches will put on things like these. You can volunteer. So, you can volunteer to help set up or clean up, or maybe be a greeter or a monitor. You can go to smaller events where it's easier to connect. I remember when I first started recognizing faces, it kind of just started with a nod from across the room, and then it became like a, hey, good to see you again. But eventually, those nods turned into conversations, and those conversations turned into friendships. It's the real point of all of this. It's not just finding a place to play, but finding people who get you. So now that you know what to expect at your first dungeon night or at your first munch, let me know what's the one thing you're most nervous about. Drop it in the comments or reach out to me on social media. You are not alone. And if you want deeper training and community, remember to grab my free BDSM resource library at domsubliving.com/free. There's a link waiting for you in the description. But until next time, keep embracing your power and pleasure through Dom Subliving.